Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 79. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
Nobody. Yeah.
I'm Mike God.
Mike Squared.
Yeah, Mike Squared, there you go.
So, briefly, what has been new with you two lately?
Oh my God. Well, the last week and a half has sucked. If you've been following my Twitter and Facebook, both Birdman Dodd, my kitten, Dr. Wiley, got really sick end of last week. He started having seizures in the middle of the night, so we had to rush him to the emergency vet office. We're like, oh my God, is my cat going to die? So we took him to 2 emergency vet visits, got some blood work drawn. Turns out he likely has feline epilepsy. So we got nailed by these massive vet bills. Luckily, we've had a lot of Twig fans come forward and help out and donate. So we covered about 75% of his vet bills, which is grand total just under $1,000. So that's pretty awesome. I'm still accepting donations to help out, but I'll give that information later. So luckily, we've got some medication for him. So now he takes 2 pills, or he takes 1 pill twice a day, and he's just really sleepy. My wife has nicknamed him our sack of potatoes, because we just kind of carry him around now. He doesn't really care, but he's still cuddly. He still plays. Our other cat, Ayla, was like kind of hissing at him, but now she's like, okay, I know who you are now. Love, love, love. So now, thanks to Wiley, I'm on a regular sleep schedule, and I don't know how I feel about this. Not used to going to bed like, it's midnight sleepy time, it's 8 a.m., time to get up. I don't think I like this anymore. It's so weird, because we have to give him a pill every day without fail at 7 a.m. And it is such a pain in the ass, because usually Blair goes to work and it's no big deal. That's when I usually go to bed some days. So it's just, it's been brutal. And my wife is saying it's bedtime. I can't, I'm podcasting. Other than that, I've been playing a game on the Xbox One for the last few weeks. Just finished my review of it. The game Evolve, same team that did Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Oh my God, that game sucks so bad. It's just so boring. It's a walking simulator. And the other game I'm working on right now, the Order 1866, is not shaping up to be too much better. You know you're at a shitty time of the year for games when the latest Dragon Ball game is kicking the shit out of them. The Dragon Ball game Xenoverse is fucking awesome.
Xenoverse is?
Oh my God, it's so cool.
Because I've heard mixed rumors on that.
It's like the ultimate Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. I mean, sure, it's not the most in-depth fighting system like Budokai or even that Dragon Ball Z arcade game that was making the fighting game circuit a couple years ago. But still, it's so legit. It's so much fun. It actually has a lot more in common with an RPG than it does an actual fighting game. But it's so much fun. I mean, right now, I think Captain Ginyu is my master. And I'm doing missions for Android 17. It's so cool. I'm named after an artichoke, because I'm a Saiyan.
You're Raditz.
Oh my God, it's so cool. I'm like this Saiyan chick, and I have this awesome, like, I can go Super Saiyan now. I can throw Destructo Discs. I can use Frieza's Death Meteor Attack. And what else can I do? I can do the Big Bang Attack from Vegeta, and I think Special Beam Cannon from Piccolo. So you can mix and match your moves, and I'm dressed like Trunks from Dragon Ball GT. It's really cool. I'm fucking loving every second of it. That's good gaming right there. Next!
Mike?
I think he's dead.
Yeah, I feel like it. I've been reading a bunch of comics this week. Actually, I just found out that Marvel lied to me. Those rat bastards. So, I've been collecting, or I've been getting, subscribed to, or whatever you want to call it, Superior Iron Man. And so far, the first 4 covers of the series are all this high-tech looking stuff. Issue number 5 comes out. On it, they pay homage to Tales of, or whatever the hell Marvel used to do. And it says Tales of... whatever the hell it is. I don't freaking know. It says Tales of Superior Iron Man, and I thought it was an old issue. Even though it was on the new shelf, I didn't see the number 5 on it. And I actually asked the people, I'm like, do you guys have Superior Iron Man number 5? It was right friggin' there. I'm looking at it on Comixology now. I'm like, oh god, I am so friggin' stupid. I picked up Princess Leia from Marvel. I have not read it yet. I read Darth Vader number 2. What else am I reading? Let's see here. I've got TMNT Mutanimals number 1. That was pretty awesome. Anybody that isn't reading the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing, you really need to. Seriously. It is awesome from beginning to end. Well, it hasn't ended yet, but... so that's pretty much what I've been doing this week.
Well, aside from working on stuff behind the scenes on the site and then working on stuff for class and had my teeth drilled the other day. I had a cavity filled and I had a filling refilled because it was broke. So, yeah, my jaw was not able to move very far yesterday. It was quite painful. They had to give me a double shot of the anesthetic on my bottom half of my mouth, so I couldn't eat until like 5 o'clock.
Oh my god.
It sucked. So yeah, there was that. And then, I mean, I've been messing with some graphics, and I've been, I actually did some voiceover for money, which was different. I mean, it wasn't really that much different. It was just, it was nice, the donation. I appreciate it. But so I did that, and then I learned that I suck at improv.
That's what you're going to school for, you idiots.
I'm going to school for acting.
Well,
improv is a different category of acting.
It's still all acting.
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing scripted shit and not unscripted shit. You have to be able to think on your feet, which I can when I'm sitting in front of a computer screen, not actually like tense, but when I'm having to come up with shit on the fly in front of people.
You know what'll help, Steve? And this is a legit piece of advice. Get yourself a Dungeons and Dragons group. Dead serious. Try it. Because you will be so good at improv after like a few months of playing, if you can play like once a week for a few hours.
Well, the thing is
I don't
have any fucking friends that live around here.
Well, you go to a college campus, right?
Not really. It's not really it's a community college, so there's not actually anything where people live in there.
Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of calling it a community college if there's no one actually in the community?
It's not a university. It's a community college. A university has dorms. Community college is the poor person edition of university.
So basically what you're saying is university people have a life, community college just run around with their heads cut off.
What I'm saying is university is like somebody going to a restaurant and have a gourmet chicken noodle soup, and going to a community college is like eating fucking ramen noodles.
Okay, so weird question, because in Canada, I guess our school systems work a little different. Do people go to classes there from 8 in the morning till whenever?
It's depending on when the class. It's all this weird tiered class systems that they have. I mean, yeah, they're open from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. or
I was
9:30.
gonna say, like, you should find out. It's
I
not
just
too
don't
late
have
in
the
semester,
time.
but like, find out if there's like a group, like a nerd group, because even community colleges would have like a group that'd be friendly to nerds, and just literally pop a poster on a wall says "looking for group" with your like email address. Hell, somebody out there must be able to help you.
Yes.
Hell, I could run a game for you if we wanted to do something for Geekcast Radio. I'd run a D&D game for you. I would help you, Steve. I can have you fight beholders and dragons if it'll help you out. Because honestly, like doing role-playing games, when you get comfortable with it, improving comes so second nature. Because I may throw a situation at you, and you better figure it the fuck out or you're dead. But you would have a friggin' blast, man. Like I said, I promise you, if you can find a group or something, you should look into it. Or maybe look into some kind of an online game for it. And then those skills should translate. Because I know that helped me when I did drama class back in high school. And then now when I run my games with Terrible Warriors, it's helped immensely. So, something to consider.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I did what little bit of improv, because today we had to actually do that, being that we're on spring break next week, so I don't actually have to go anywhere. But they were having us do improv in place of doing scripted lines, because we were reading or doing the lines from The Odd Couple for a bit, and then finally finished that last week. And so this week we were doing the improv and doing a bunch of other kind of play type stuff, and some of the situations it was kind of fucked up, because usually they kind of like they let us start a scene or pick one on our own, and then this one guy thought he was funny and he was in the back yelling suggestions, and then the teacher's like, yeah, let's roll with that. And so like when he got up there, they kind of shafted him for it. So I had an interesting email earlier this week. I had iTunes email me. Mike knows where this is going. As many will know, I cannot stand iTunes. This is more of a personal issue, because one, I dislike Apple.
Apple
so
kill
much.
Your family or something, or what?
What's that?
Did Apple kill your family, or
No, I dislike Apple. I've never cared for Apple or their products, and the fact that they cost an ungodly amount for the same shit you could get for a PC for half the cost. I understand that their operating system is better to some degree, but I'm not a fan of their gear or their obscene price amounts because they think they're superior. So anyways, roundabout way of saying this, I hate iTunes. So every time we have to deal with them for submitting a podcast, doesn't matter. There's at least one or two shows that there's a problem with. Well, this time, I have this pet peeve that they keep changing their pixel size for the art for the podcast. To which, when we originally started doing this, they were like 200 by 200, then it was 300, and then they changed it to 600, and then they changed it to like 900 or something, and then it was 1400.
It's right
and now it's like
14 by 14.
Now it's like 2500 or something. Now is like the new thing, which is an obscene pixel size. Anyhow, when you're dealing with some of the images, when you're trying to rebuild it to be bigger, it's a pain in the ass. Because most of the art that I use is 300 by 300, because a lot of the shows are retired. 360 into this conversation now. They contacted because they want to feature, they're interested in featuring, and this is a manager, editor, person for partner relations of iTunes. They would like to feature our podcast, Legends of the Dark Knight. But our cover artwork was too small at 300 by 300, therefore not showing in iTunes, because apparently they've started kicking out anything that's not large, the 1400 pixel size now. So if it's a 300, they're starting to boot them out of the directory, so it just says iTunes. So anyways, they said, can you please update it to the minimum required size? So I rebuilt it, and then I sent it to them, and so I should be hearing something back on that soon. But so now I have to go through and redo all the damn arts so they'll show up in iTunes.
I guess that's going to affect Twig stuff too, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure eventually.
Have fun with
Yes.
that, Steve.
Yeah.
I love you,
Fuck
buddy.
you too,
I love you. All the video games are yours. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass, like when you're having to rebuild them. But if like you're building them for the first time or redesigning them, it doesn't really matter. But like if you're trying to upscale something that was small to begin with, it sucks. But so I had to rebuild it anyway and scale it. It was kind of crap, but I got it to work. But yeah, so that was the other event that took place this week. On a side note, and speaking of crashes of epic proportions, now that I've talked about some of the stuff like that, Harrison Ford crashed an airplane earlier.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't make that kind of a transition into something that's... Oh, God.
It's not that... Well, I mean...
Well, he's not dead.
No,
he's not dead.
it's not
He
dead.
just injured himself again. You know, this would have never happened if he was in the Millennium Falcon.
But he has
wait.
crashed that, which I from what I hear, they're using the artwork, I think, from the Jedi Academy book where there's the Falcon crashed, and people are saying that's it.
Yeah, I've seen that image, too, floating around. I just saw it a little bit ago.
That's pretty funny.
It says, glad Ford's okay, and it shows the Falcons pointing upward from a golf course. But, no, I mean, he had an old, like, airplane that he was flying and crashed it. But he was rushed to, the hospital, but he's doing good, I guess.
Crashed on a golf course. At least there wasn't a lot of people around, and thankfully he wasn't flying something like an F-22 Raptor or something.
But you could say he did get a hole-in-one.
He did get a hole-in-one. Hell of a shot. From, like, the stratosphere. I'm impressed.
He landed the front end of the plane right in the,
Wouldn't it be awesome if he crashed during, like, a celebrity golf tournament or something? And, like, he was rescued by, like, I don't know, Steve Buscemi or something?
It would be better if it was the guy saying, "You missed, you jackass."
Yes, that guy. Bob Barker saves him.
Speaking of which, there was also, I just saw this a little bit ago, but Adam Sandler and Bob Barker, I guess, have a Happy Gilmore reenactment.
I saw that, but I haven't watched it yet. Like, I saw it pop up on, like, Facebook this past week, and I'm like, I should watch that, then I just kind of forgot about it.
I haven't seen it yet, but it was on Comedy Central's, it's going to be on Comedy Central's Night of Too Many Stars charity telethon.
Well, that's good.
It's not an exact reenactment, but it's supposed to be, it takes place in the hospital instead of a golf course.
So it's kind of like the aftermath?
Basically. Like it says, instead of knocking Sandler out at the end, for instance, Barker spews a contents of a vial marked Ebola in his face.
So basically...
Sorry, go ahead.
So basically they're going to celebrity deathmatch it up.
Almost.
That's a show I'm surprised that never made a comeback in recent years.
You know what they should do with that? They should turn that into a live-action movie.
Or honestly, give the rights to it to the Robot Chicken guys and just let them do it with their style.
You know, that would actually be kind of cool.
I do know one of the head writers for that show. I should hey dude, you should poke MTV. Get this going, it would be cool.
I think it would go over really well in today's age.
I think so too, because you could have I don't know, Lady Gaga fighting Justin Bieber with chainsaw arms or something. You could have something really friggin' ridiculous.
Having her walk around with a freaking meat dress and then Bieber sicking dogs on her.
And here's the really screwed up thing. I bet you a lot of celebrities would probably come in and do their own voices as long as it was funny. Honestly, I'd love to see a huge battle royale against Kanye West or something.
They were going to let him finish, but they decided to kill him instead.
I was actually watching the Nostalgia Critic this past week. He did a review of the Haunted Mansion from Disney, and he does this skit with his guy Malcolm, and he dressed up, and the gag was like Disney miscasting certain movies since XXX, and they give the example of like coming next summer is Disney's Gargoyles with Kanye West as Goliath, and then they cast Kevin Costner as Xanatos. With that, I thought was pretty freaking hilarious. Like, I am Xanax, Xanatos, don't care. And then Kanye West was just being, well, Kanye West fucking nuts as Goliath. And I'm thinking, I'd kind of pay to see that with Ellen DeGeneres as the female.
As Demora.
Yeah, Demora. That would be fucking awesome.
You know what's sad? I freaking remember all their names, but I've not watched the show in probably 6-7 years.
I have all the toys. I've seen maybe 5 episodes.
I didn't actually know it went on as long as it did, but I thought there was only like 2 seasons. And it goes on like a lot longer.
I thought it only had like a season, maybe 2.
I thought it only had 2 because that's all I had watched, but I think it has like 6 or 7.
Get the fuck out! That show was so cool, though.
And it's like the black sheep of Disney. Like, they don't even acknowledge that it exists.
It sucks because Keith David did such a badass job on that.
It only was around 2 years.
Yeah, Gargoyles was only around 2 years. Celebrity.
So I've seen most of the 2 seasons then.
Celebrity.
That's cool, though.
Celebrity Deathmatch is the one that had 6 seasons.
But they were like really short, though, weren't they?
Well, yeah, but
I don't know. See, that's a show that I think deserves a second chance. I mean, even if they did it exclusively on YouTube, they'd make their money back so fast. I mean, Fox does that ADHD on YouTube still, where they have the scientifically accurate theme songs or whatever.
Which is disturbing as all hell.
But some of them are so funny, like scientifically accurate DuckTales or Ninja Turtles.
Those are just wrong. And like Scrooge McDuck goes in the gold and he just splats.
Speaking of DuckTales, what do we think of the new series coming in a couple of years?
I hope they have a trailer by Comic-Con or something, like some kind of like a teaser.
It actually has me so like actually really excited. For it, only because I'll get to experience that with my kid too, because he loves the theme song of the old one, which unfortunately I don't think they'll keep. I think they'll hip hop it up.
As long as it doesn't sound like that shitty Quack Pack version, I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as they update it like kind of how they did with Ninja Turtles,
yeah, then
I'm fine. Because I mean, even the new one isn't the original, but it's true enough to the original. I don't care. I actually like it. So
you know what I think would be really neat if they had this idea of doing the Disney universe. Hear me out on this. Starts with DuckTales, expands out the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. You reboot Goof Troop somehow, and Darkwing Duck exists as a show within that universe. That occasionally, if they need a filler episode across anything, they can just do a Darkwing Duck show. So it's like the meta thing. It would be like the Star Trek version show in the Ninja Turtles thing if they need just a cutaway for something.
No.
You know what they should do? They should do almost like how the Animaniacs was. Have all shorts in it, and they just have Chip and Dale's. They have Darkwing. They have Tailspin. They have all of those, and then just do like the 30-minute episodes, and then just have the like shorts, kind of like how they did Animaniacs, and then the having Pinky in the Brain and Slappy Squirrel and all those kind of things.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I like that idea, Steve. But Mike,
bring back Tailspin too, man.
Well, but Mike, having Darkwing be the show within a show, that is such a disservice to Darkwing Duck.
But that could be really cool, because then they could do really goofy shit and get away with it.
Well, then they could have him just come out, like, play a kind of a Fat Albert angle where they just come out of the TV and they're just alive.
But man, like, I'm really happy Disney's gonna give that property another chance. Like, I'd like to see Disney retake the animation from its heyday and bring it back, because I think Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network have some of the best shows right now. Disney should. I mean, Disney's live action stuff, I mean, my wife watches it because she has to, because she's a teacher, to know what the kids are like talking about and all that stuff. So I occasionally see some of it. And Disney does have like Phineas and Ferb and all that stuff, which is cool.
Phineas and Ferb, well, I used to love that show. It's severely gone downhill, not in quality of the episodes, but I never know when new episodes are on because they never friggin' advertise the show anymore.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like Disney could take it back. I mean, wait a second, does Disney do Gravity Falls too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, see, they've got these cool shows, but you never know when the hell they're on.
That's the other thing. They have one episode left of the 7D, the new Seven Dwarfs show, executive produced by Tom Ruger.
And I completely forgot about that.
Dude, I'm telling you, you got to watch this show. Find it on YouTube or some. It is hilarious. It is awesome. But it's one of those things where I've been trying to get an interview for us with Tom Ruger, and the last message he sent me was, "Oh well, we still have the season 1 finale, but no idea when Disney's going to air it." It's like, he basically told me the show is done. It's ready to go. I don't get why Disney isn't doing, like, right now, even with their live action stuff. The last Girl Meets World episode was in January. The next new one isn't until...
Well, no, the last one was February 6th, and
Okay.
then the next one's in, like...
March 27th is when it is.
That's a
And
really
then
weird space out.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing that. They've been doing that this year. That's why, like, all the shows are ending pretty much, like, this month.
Yeah, and they've been airing new episodes of crap like I Didn't Do It and whatever other shows that they, that they're still airing.
Well, I guess because live action's cheaper to produce as opposed to animated stuff, which really sucks. Because I think Disney should play to their strength, like use their bread and butter, and I mean, they own all this wonderful stuff. Start using it. I realize they're dumping all the money into Marvel stuff, which is cool.
Right.
But, that new Avenger show sucks.
Yeah.
Nothing is better than Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The one they got now, Avengers Assemble, garbage.
Since we're talking about Disney, I do want to bring up the fact, this story is a little while ago, but it's from IDW's actual website. It was a press release announcement. IDW Publishing announced that they will be bringing Disney comics to print in a number of exciting formats beginning in April. This monumental collaboration kicks off with a multiple monthly series featuring some of the most iconic characters of all time: Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Pluto, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and many more. Representing acclaimed comics from the past and today, these series will highlight the best and brightest of Disney's impressive comic catalog. Okay, so these are basically reprints of the older Disney stuff, but IDW is still, Image Comics might be the king of creator-owned or original idea comics, but IDW is king of the media franchise, or the franchises we know and love. They have everything. They've got Gem coming out later this month. They've got Transformers, Turtles, all this stuff, and I cannot wait to actually see some of these Disney comics that they're going to put out.
I kind of hope that it gets awesome with some of the kind of Disney stuff, because I really like the like older Disney characters, and I kind of wouldn't mind picking up a book that's maybe a little bit more simple like that. You know what's weird? I find myself being drawn to books that are meant for younger audiences now, and I really don't know why. Like, I love reading the like pony stuff and stuff like that.
Are you reading?
Go give the new kind of Disney comics a whirl.
Are you reading Scooby-Doo Team Up from DC?
I am. See, here's the thing. I don't like Scooby-Doo. It's really fucked up. I had a friend of mine in high school, and we were friends for a while afterwards. But it was the be-all and end-all for her. And I think the thing is, I never saw Scooby-Doo as nothing more than a really lazy stoner joke. Only thing I've liked with Scooby-Doo in the last couple of years, some of his movies are actually kind of okay. And I have a really guilty pleasure in Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania,
Yeah.
where he teams up with like John Cena and all this other stupid shit. It's ridiculous. But my wife's like in the other room. She's like, it's horrible. And now there's this new one. I think it's called Stone Age SmackDown or something.
Yep.
And I kind of want to get it. You know what? I'm actually going to see if that's available for me to get because I'm really curious.
The only reason why I ask you about Scooby-Doo Team Up from DC is because you say you're reading more kid age comics and that kind of stuff, and regardless of your feelings of Scooby-Doo, it depending on which issues you get. Like there's one where Batman and Robin team up with them, like the old Scooby-Doo movies, and they have to go after Bat-Mite, and then coming in to save the day, they bring in Scooby-Mite.
Oh God!
No, it's really it's hilarious. The two previous issues, 7 and 8, that just came out over the last few months. Issue 7 was Scooby-Doo meets the Flintstones, and issue 8 was Scooby-Doo meets the Jetsons. It's pretty awesome. Certain issues, but
you know what? I may give that a bit of a whirl.
Yeah. What else?
So, what do you have or think about the fact that all the modern gaming game creation programs are now free?
Oh, you mean stuff like the Unreal Engine?
Yeah, the Unreal, and then I guess Unity made theirs free too.
Honestly, I cannot wait to see what some indie developers come out with, especially if they remain friendly with platforms like PlayStation and Xbox. Because I know PlayStation, for example, is very indie-friendly right now. And if someone can make something really kick-ass for the Vita to revitalize that thing, that would be neat. Because you realize the Vita is like 2 years old now?
Seems like it's older.
I think, I want to say it's at least 2, at least. The 3DS is 4 years old now. And I'm just trying to think, like, when was the last time you really heard about a Vita game? I mean, really think about that. And that's terrible. That's a great handheld. No one plays it.
The only time I've even heard about it, I mean, I know of the Vita. I know what it is because I used to listen to Mike Laidman talk about it all the time. But the only time I hear it now in ads where it's like, when they, at the end when they announce whatever game it is that's actually on whatever system it is, or...
There's the crossplay, right?
Right. Or there's a crossplay ad where it's like, hey, you can play this on your PS4, and you can play this on your Vita too. And it's like...
There was a time where it was neat when Destiny had the stupid loot cave where you could sit there on your Vita, have your TV doing whatever else, and you could just shoot at the loot cave all day and gather all sorts of rare Ingrams. And you could do that on your Vita, and you could play other games. I think you could play like The Last of Us Remastered. See, the thing is, I don't want to play that awesome a game on that small a screen because you can't see what the fuck's going on. Although there are really good games for it. Like there's one I played last year. It was Persona 4 Golden. Fantastic JRPG. In fact, that's a system seller for that console. But when I play my Vita, I play a lot of downloadable games. My favorite one is called Pinball Arcade, which I know, weird, but I download old tables from the arcades I used to play at. I've got the Star Trek The Next Generation one, which is amazing, and I play the Terminator 2 table. And it has all the authentic sound clips, all the original animations. I think they're trying to get Addams Family, and I think Starship Troopers are supposed to come out soon. Which means I may have to dust off my Vita and pick those up at some point. See, those are, like, I don't know, like, the Vita could be such a great handheld if only Sony gave a shit. When you look at the 3DS in comparison, like, hey, here's the new Pokemon, or here's a game from 15 years ago, like, Majora's Mask 3D just came out a couple weeks ago, and on the new 3DS with that little C-stick, it makes such a difference in how that game controls, and it looks gorgeous now. I don't know, and when you think about all the creative tools that are now out there for developers and indie developers, I don't know, it almost makes you want to try my hand at game design, just get together a team. I know some programmers, and maybe now's the time to do it. Just the thing is, I guess, with all the Kickstarters that don't deliver on making a game, I guess the odds of getting funded are pretty friggin' small. And plus, I guess half the games I want to do are probably existing properties that have to get the kind of rights to. But still, it's an exciting time to be a game person right now.
I'm kind of excited for it. I'm actually going to download them and just kind of try them out and see if it's something I can figure out or not. Being that they're free, it kind of is that open window to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, because you've got nothing to lose except time.
Yep, pretty much. And that's kind of why I want to try it out and just see if it's something I can withstand doing or not.
One game, it came out on Kickstarter last year, and it's actually out. I think they just concluded a Kickstarter for its next expansion, was the Shadowrun Returns from Catalyst Game Labs, based upon the pen and paper RPG. I know you can design your own scenarios for that. I'd like to maybe see someone take some of the newer tools. A few years ago on the Xbox 360, I think 2008, I want to say, maybe 2007, they tried to do Shadowrun again as an FPS, and it sucked so bad, because they took all the lore and basically took a dump on it. Never worked right. I'd love to see someone revisit that as a first-person shooter, and just make it more awesome, because that's a universe I don't think that gets nearly enough love. Like the Shadowrun universe, it's basically picture Lord of the Rings, like with orcs, trolls, and all that shit, and people and magic. Now cross that with cyber technology, and dragons can run corporations and all this shit, and it's so cool. Like when you read into the lore of it, and I'd like to see someone maybe make another Shadowrun game as a first-person shooter, or maybe something else entirely. Sorry, I'm just having a game boner over here.
Well, one of the things that kind of excites me about the Unreal being unlocked now is the fact I'm a huge Unreal Tournament fan, and they're working on Unreal Tournament 4 right now, and it's free, completely free. I mean, right now they're in alpha beta. They're still messing with maps. They actually have their first articulated map, and then they're retooling some of the weapons and the gameplay and everything else. But I've been playing the game since '99 when it came out, the original one, and then Unreal 2004, and then Unreal Tournament 3, which came out in 2007. So it's been quite a while since they've had it. I actually just downloaded it the other day, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So I'm hoping by next week I'm actually able to get some play time in on it and kind of see how it works. But I guess the other bit of kind of interesting gaming news is the Arkham Knight information that's kind of popped up, that they're finally making a mature Batman game.
It's going to be so cool. I'm so hyped for it.
I'm super hyped for it. I'm going to have to get it for the PC, though. Just because of the fact I don't have a PS4 or a
Xbox One.
Xbox One, and I don't plan on buying one. So I'm just going to get it for my PC and play it. But I'm super stoked to try that game because I love the Arkham series. And especially with Rocksteady in command, I feel very...
Very confident?
Very, very confident that it's going to be a very good game. Plus, the story in it I have no idea what's going to happen now that Joker's not in the loop.
I'm pretty hyped for it, too. It's one of the few games... Most games I get for free, but collector's editions I don't always do. This is one of the few games a year I'll actually pre-order. I got the Batman Batmobile edition. So I'm really looking forward to displaying that. The only collector's edition for the Batman games I don't have is the one for Origins, where it's the Joker's display, and it's all lit up like all the different TVs.
Ah.
That's only because I forgot to pre-order it. I was like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. 3 months later, hey, we're sold out. Fuck. It looked really badass. I'm actually kind of sad, though. I've got the game, just not the special edition. I don't know. Something about the Rocksteady games, they always put really good effort into their collector's editions. Like, I mean, the first one had the Batarang, the second one had the statue, the third one had the light-up Joker diorama, and then this one with the Batmobile. And the company that makes it, Project Triforce, their stuff is phenomenal. A couple of years ago, they sent me a Gears of War replica Lancer. Thing's worth like $1,000. And it is one of the nicest replicas I've ever held in my life. Made of a really unusual material, but it's more meant to be displayed on like a wall or something. But their artists over there are second to none. They did an Arkham replica of Batman's gauntlet holding a Batarang. And I did a replica of the Riddler's question mark trophy as well. And they're pretty friggin' impressive. Like, if you can afford anything from Project Triforce, they are ridiculously worth it. They do stuff for Mass Effect. They did, like, M8 Avenger. They did the Paladin pistol, I think, or the Predator pistol, and the Geth assault rifle. Like, their gaming stuff, like I said, like, go look them up, guys, seriously. Project Triforce, phenomenal artists.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of this stuff. I don't personally get the collector's editions, but that's because I can't spare the extra cash. And to me, give me the game. Not that I wouldn't like the collector's editions, but or like the stuff that comes with them, because I think they're badass. But I typically just get the cheapest way I can get the game. And also, like, I'm going to play the shit out of it when I get it, so it's not like it's going to be a bad investment anyway. The other thing I wouldn't spring money for is the Kickstarter of Toe Jam and Earl.
See, I like Toe Jam and Earl, just I don't know if that's a property that's going to be as successful as they want it to be.
I don't think it's a good property to revive, honestly. I think it needs to stay on its 2D where it was and just leave it alone.
Does anyone even remember that series?
I do.
God,
it was on
yeah.
Sega.
I'm a Genesis guy, so that's why I remember. Although I'd like to see them bring back some other characters, like maybe. Actually, you know what I'd pay to see a Kickstarter for? If they could do a remake of, it was a Genesis fighting game. They did a version for the Sega CD as well, but it was called Eternal Champions. If they could bring that back and get like a really good fighting game director to take it over, that'd be bitchin'.
See, I'm not really sure of any of those old games, like, about reviving any of them. I liked them in the past, but
Battletoads is coming back. They announced that this week.
Yeah, it's along with that rule of everything that's old is new again.
It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be impressive when it comes out. I mean, they do improve graphically over the years, so I mean there is that, and the story has to be added, being that they can do more than just hopping across the screen or doing limited movement.
Well, as long as they don't botch it up like Syndicate remake that came out a couple years ago, that's what I'm most afraid of.
As you probably have guessed, Bob Barker and I haven't spoken with each other in many years.
That's right. Not since Happy Gilmore. Mm-hmm. But we know that providing schools and services for people with autism is too important.
Absolutely. So I'm hanging out here with Bob, helping him with his soup while his hip heals.
I do not need your help, Adam.
You told me the soup was hot, Bob. Let me help you.
That's disgusting. Come on.
What's the matter, Bob?
I'm fine. But you know, you are looking old.
Thanks for pointing that out.
How old are you, 60?
I think we're supposed to talk about autism, Bob.
You're looking chunkier than the soup.
That was a good one.
I guess doing all those movies without me took its toll.
Oh, that's what this is about.
If I had known that I had to toss your salad to be in another one, I would have. But Rob Schneider didn't send me the memo.
Okay, all right. You know what? I think Price is Right is on now. We could watch that. Love the host. He's just so funny and not crotchety and angry. And
You know what else is great about him?
tell me.
He's worked 25 years and never had to do the lobbity-doo, waka-waka-woo voice.
Yeah.
You know, like a desperate idiot.
Couldn't be nice, could you, Bobby, huh?
This soup is too hot.
Now you're gonna get it, Bobby. I would think those balls would have been a lot lower.
Hey, I need that.
I'll get it back to you.
Oh no, Bobby. No, it's not over yet. It's not. I can't let you die on me. I'm sorry. Come back and let me finish your ass. No.
You're truly #1 in my book.
How many fucking asparagus did you eat today?
Is everything okay in this house?
Oh, it is now. Yeah. It's all over now. Deal with it.
One of us is already 91, dummy.
Huh? What? Oh!
I wish I could see David Spade's face when he finds out there won't be a Grown Ups 3.
Damn you! Looks like they like the Sandman a little bit more. Thanks for playing, Bob.
Don't you understand? They're applauding because you're dead.
That's funny. Boom! Yeah, boy!
Oh, come on, Happy. What are you doing? All right, go ahead. Just kick his ass.
So, jumping gears, I don't know if you guys have noticed the massive influx of hatred towards and some hatred and some liking of the Power Rangers Dark version.
That was really legitimately cool. I thought it was really neat. Obviously, not a direction you can make a movie out of, but as a short, I thought that was really neat.
I don't understand why everyone's so mad at it, or why people think it sucks. It's a fan film. It's
a short. Who cares?
I mean, it's not like they're, whatever. And, it's meant for us older fans who grew up with the property. It's not meant for kids. And no one is really saying that Saban would ever go in a direction like that. They won't. Because, if you look at Dino Charge, and I've seen the first at least 3 episodes of the current series, which is entitled Dino Charge, and Power Rangers has had the same formula for 20 plus years now. They're never going to make something like this, which it was a nice little twist at the end. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a great way to basically pay homage to all the different characters.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat, and the fact that I thought James Vanderbeek as Rocky was a nice twist, especially with his cyborg leg, which plays into continuity with what happened at the end of Power Rangers Turbo, where he fucked up his leg. I'm like, man, that's really fucking cool. It would have been neat had Jason David Frank actually come back as Tommy, but I can imagine that would have pissed off Saban something fierce.
Well, go ahead, Steve.
And he didn't want he wouldn't have wanted anything to do with it anyway.
Yeah, he's all yay fun and whatever.
Well, the funny thing about that is I actually saw recently on his YouTube channel where he posted about it and did a little video about it, and he basically said the same thing that I just said, that, he likes that that it paid homage for the old fans, but it's something, he wouldn't really necessarily be on. And it's just one of those things where it was weird because he said he thought it was great, but... And I think he even said something to the effect of, like, a year ago or so, before he got in with Bat in the Sun, that the guys doing this actually approached him. So, I don't know.
That's still pretty cool, though. I mean, all things considered, that's so friggin' badass. I mean, and that's the same guy who did Dirty Laundry for The Punisher, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd love to see this guy do more stuff. I want to see him do a friggin' Aliens fan film. Oh my god.
But I mean, really, how much darker could he go?
I'm trying to, I don't know, maybe make Scooby-Doo where they investigate Jason Voorhees or something, I don't know. Blue's Clues, A Nightmare on Elm Street? I don't know. I'm reaching here.
Do Khan right?
Oh my god, imagine if he made a Ninja Turtles fan film and it was as bloody as the real comic book. Okay, that would actually be legitimately pretty freaking sick if he could pull that off. And the big bad is like fucking Krang in like his Utulam form or whatever. Someone give this guy money. Like, seriously, I love when people are that talented to make stuff like that. And it's their own money. It's like fan film. I mean, honestly, if I won a lottery or something, I would pay people like that, like, hey, I want to see X, make it happen. Here's however much you need. Put that shit out on YouTube. If it makes money, great. If it doesn't, who cares? Here's something legitimately really cool. Like, oh, okay. All right, here's our question, I think, of the week right here. If you could make a fan film, what would you do? Here's mine. Finally, the definitive answer. Superman versus Goku. And just not animated, live action. Hell, if you can get Henry Cavill to sign on to play Superman and get a really cool looking Goku looking motherfucker, I just want to see them battle it out for 10 minutes. That's all I want.
Almost like the epic rap battle.
Exactly, yeah, like shit, man, that'd be so cool. Or like Screw Attack's death battle. If you could like make one of those real or something, or like Spawn versus Batman or something. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm just a bit in nerd nirvana right now.
I don't know what I'd have, have directed if I could choose something. I mean, I really don't know. I have such a diverse fan, oriented liking of different things that it's kind of hard for me to even kind of figure that out.
Blanchard, what about you?
I don't know, actually. Fan film.
Ooh, do you guys remember a couple years ago when IDW did that Infestation storyline where it was like Transformers, Ghostbusters, and Ninja Turtles?
Yep.
15 minutes, make that shit happen. And we're talking going back in time here, so get the young Ghostbusters if you want, and we can have the non-bait Transformers in this. Once again, nerd boner.
Like I said, it'd be interesting to see what people come up with. I can't personally think of anything off the top of my head.
Or, you know what would be really neat to see if someone could do this, and it would be so easy to pull off. Do you guys remember that episode of Batman, the animated series, where it's everybody just sitting around playing poker?
Yep.
Do that. Because that would not be a huge expense. Get some really
Almost
good
got
character
'em.
actors.
And then you just have a couple minutes of them actually duking it out.
Exactly. And it's just like a short. It would be so funny. It ends on, and then I threw a rock at him. Like, that would be so funny. Someone
It'd be
out there in
interesting.
YouTube land, be listening.
Never know, you might see something like that on Bat in the Sun.
Oh my god, that would be so cool.
Well, Phineas and Ferb didn't make it to 10 years on the air.
They got canceled?
Yep.
That
Finally.
sucks.
I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, Mike.
Well, then like I already
It wasn't
said,
that bad, though.
And like I already said in this podcast, you know, I've enjoyed the episodes that they've done, but they've only shown us they haven't shown us much. I mean, and it's so sporadic. I'll actually send you this link, Steve, when I'm done looking at it here. But I'm actually looking at the Disney, Nickelodeon, Disney XD, Cartoon Network upfronts and what's renewed, what's all that, and canceled and whatever
All I need
else.
to know is Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, it's obvious. It's been renewed since the first season.
All I need to know.
But yes, it's already renewed series. Nickelodeon has 3 already renewed series: Breadwinners, Sanjay and Craig, and Turtles.
I'm not
Yes,
surprised.
and
about
SpongeBob.
Recently, new series. Let's see, newly announced. Let's see here. It's not on the ending, so
I can't see them doing that.
it's listed on here. Active shows with new episodes remaining, and it says SpongeBob. So.
My son will never see that show.
I like SpongeBob because it's so weird. Sometimes it's really clever, and other times it's just really stupid.
It's not even that. I've seen enough of the in-jokes and stuff that, having grown up with a lot of these shows where there's a lot of, like, watching Hey Arnold or Rocko's Modern Life and all of the inappropriate jokes that are in them, I won't let my kid watch stuff like that because I know it's there.
And Steve, you and I come from 2 different schools of parenting. Honestly, I've raised my kid on, okay, kid, we're going to watch Eddie Murphy Raw. I want you to be hilarious when you grow up.
I'm not saying I won't let him watch certain things, but it's going to be stuff that, if it were up to my wife, he'd watch all Disney stuff, which even that's not all clean. She's discovering.
Yeah.
Because, like, my kid loves Ice Age. He watched, and it's like the second film that we have. I think they said shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 6 times or something like that, or maybe it wasn't shit. Maybe it was something. It was something equally bad though. And we're like, yeah, you ain't watching that movie anymore, unless we fast forward past it because it was just dropping. I mean, he's 2 years old, so I mean, obviously he's not going to watch stuff like that. But there's certain things I'll let him watch, like. Then there's certain things I won't. It just kind of depends, but
See, I don't know, but say I was gonna.
If it's something I think he won't catch what it's aiming for,
yeah.
then that's one thing.
But then again, I guess I can't say much because do you know what my first word was?
Fuck.
Legit, first word was fuck. And then I guess, look how well I've grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? I don't know. I always found that kind of weird censoring or watching how your kids grow up because...
But honestly, it's the parents' job, and I think that the parents nowadays just kind of let shit go by the wayside.
I don't think they explain it to the... I don't think there's nearly enough hands-on. At least with you, Steve, you're hands-on with it. As opposed to hands-off with it.
Well, like, I want to be able to explain it if it's, something that's picked up. And I don't want him, like, sitting there thinking that, something's okay because they said it, and it's... I don't know. I'm not going to, like, shield him and hide him from everything. It's just I'm going to choose what age he's exposed to it.
But once he's in grade school, you're done.
Oh, I know. I mean, and it depends. I mean, if something comes up, I think that a lot of people don't get hands-on with what they're letting their kids watch. I'm not saying that all shows should be censored or, blocked off or whatever. That's kind of like the individual parent's choice. But there's certain shows like Turtles. Technically, my wife doesn't like him watching that because there's fighting. But I'm sorry, when you have a kid that has pent-up energy and their only way of doing it is by bouncing off the walls, watching, turtles kicking ass, then, and they don't say anything bad. It's just, I mean, almost everything you watch has some kind of fighting in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's.
So I'm not even going to try and hide that. But, as long as the language is clean, or they don't have like a, blatant dick joke hidden in the design of the character.
Yeah.
Kind of like A. Arnold or Rocko's Modern Life.
Speaking of, like, kids' cartoons, I was in bed the other morning, and I was just waking up, coming out of a very groggy sleep. And my wife turns on the TV, and kid shows are really screwed up. It was this weird talking bird, and she was making these kids do this Ukrainian dance. And I don't know. I'm like, I don't remember kids programming being this stupid. I mean, we're obviously too old for Barney and Teletubbies and all that shit. We grew up in the era of the Muppets and Sesame Street. And I don't know, there's just something... Kids TV's fucking weird, man.
Well, I will say this. A lot of the kids shows that are out now for the toddler age are pretty freaking stupid. There's some of them are halfway decent, and then there's some that are just freaking retarded. To where I don't know a lot of their names, like, because my son watches all kids programming at my mom's.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure what all he watches. I mean, I know some of the shows, and like, he watches Chuggington or Transformers Rescue Bots or Turtles, stuff like that I'm fine with. It's the, you get into some of the weird quasi Muppet live action goofy stuff.
Those shows are just really friggin' out there, aren't they?
But they come from like Norway and other weird. I'm not saying people there are weird. It comes off that way. But
oh my god! I wish we could call that the episode title.
All Norwegians are fucked. I think Steve was going to call this one "Access Denied."
All Norwegians are fucked. All right.
I'll say this: there will never be another time in children's programming like when we were kids. Never.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're never going to...
We just came out of Romper Room and the Electric Company and HR Puff and stuff. That was just before us.
Plus, you had Sesame Street in its heyday. You had Mr. Rogers. You had all that stuff.
Well, nowadays you're getting to either knockoffs of old shows that we grew up with, or you're getting closer to the Ow My Balls.
Mm-hmm.
There was a show...
Which is a it's a reality show in Idiocracy.
There were a couple shows in Canada that I really liked, and I bet you some of your listeners probably know about these. They're so local to Ontario, though, at least the one for sure. It used to be called Camp Caribou, and it was just this really weird kids variety show. And I don't know, it was weirdly wholesome, but I really, really liked it even as I got older, because it was just weird. I don't know, it was just really wholesome. And also, there's this other one, it was called Kiddio. I think we've talked about this before, but I'm not sure. It was like a knockoff Kiss group, but they were called Kiddio. And they were, like, insanely happy about stuff. They played music and weird little things. I don't know, it was...
So they're constantly high.
Oh, yeah, my wife brought up a really good one. Bozo the Clown. And I'm talking the one from Chicago. A really good one. I used to watch that a lot when I was a kid. I thought that one was so cool.
I used to watch that.
Oh my god, I wanted to be on that show so bad.
My mom was in the, like, 60s.
Oh, GTFO. That's so cool.
But
What?
they knew somebody was on the station, so...
One show I like for kids, because I used to, help babysit my friend's daughter and son all the time. And I don't know, I just thought it was cool. I really like Dora the Explorer, actually. Dora, Diego, and that fucking weasel Swiper. That guy is harsh. I love him.
Yeah, and then they gave Diego his own show, which was just horrible.
That Swiper dude, man, I want to get a plush Swiper, because I love that Swiper, no swiping, and that, oh man, love that guy. I remember, during college, obviously me, my roommates Dave, Pierce, and everybody else who lived at the, Twig House, pull some really late nighters waiting for footage to render, or editing or stuff like that. So that means 2 words: sleep deprivation. If you want to experience what I'm presuming LSD is like, don't sleep for a day and a half, drink nothing but Jolt Cola, and watch Treehouse or Kids TV at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was this one thing, I can't remember what it was, but it was this little dude who I'm pretty sure was Kid Rock's little buddy, that Joe C guy. He was rapping about a tomato hat. And I remember rolling on the floor at his girlfriend's house at the time, talking to the dog about how stupid the tomato hat was.
Was it a killer tomato hat?
I don't think so. Although Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was a wicked cartoon.
I'm surprised that hasn't come back.
Oh yeah, and my wife is randomly telling me this. I forgot. The dog's name was Bin Laden. Not kidding.
Oh my god.
I think it was more of an ironic name, because that dog loved everybody. That dog was stupid as shit, but it loved everybody.
That's just horrible.
Well, I guess, yeah, although that's not the weirdest pet name I've heard. My friend Tom, who does Terrible Warriors with me, he rescued a hamster a few weekends ago. Unfortunately, it died because of, I guess it just had something wrong with it, unfortunately. But he called the hamster Brienne the Thunder Fist. That's one of the weirder names I've ever heard for a pet. That's because you couldn't just call the hamster Brienne. You'd have to say the full name, or the hamster would not look at you. We're like, Brienne, not looking at you. Brienne the Thunderfist looked right at you. You fucking A, dude.
Wow.
Man, this conversation's gone all over the place.
Well, to kind of bring it back, but yet still have some sort of news of the weird, apparently 5 years ago, the guy tried to sue Applebee's for fajitas burning him while he was praying over them. Apparently, the courts just now have said you cannot sue Applebee's for praying over hot food.
Okay.
He shouldn't have had his dick in his sandwich.
Oh!
Although, I'm surprised more people don't get hurt when they bring that kind of stuff to your table, but I guess you assume risk when you order it, because I remember, I would go to Applebee's and Chili's and all that shit, and I'd order fajitas, and they'd bring them out on these hot skillets. I'm so surprised no one has knocked that into their crotch.
Well, most of the time, the waiters or waitresses will tell you that they're freaking hot. They just came out of the oven.
Or they'll set them in the middle of the table, away from where you are. All you have to do is put your arms up on the edge of the table and sit there and close your eyes. You don't have to lean over the food and then fall into it.
It's not like you're Jean Grey trying to scan its mind while it's sitting on your table.
Well, maybe it's like a religious thing where you have to be over it or something. I don't know. It's possible.
But you don't have to be touching it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm really surprised you don't hear more people get hurt by that stuff. I mean, do you guys remember when the woman sued McDonald's for the coffee in the crotch?
Oh, yeah.
Now, admittedly,
sorry,
their
but
coffee is about the same temperature as liquid magma. But still, hot coffee's hot, don't be a friggin' moron. But there's also a point where you shouldn't be serving a person liquid metal.
But I'm sorry if people are that stupid and suit crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that the warning labels alone that we have to put on things is ridiculous.
Well, it's really weird, though, because sue someone, that's a money pit. And you better hope you win plus court costs. Because can you just imagine that coming across the judge's desk for the cases that day? Murder, rape, drug charge, fajitas.
Spill the coffee on my crotch.
Yeah, well, jail, probation. Fuck you. Like, come on. I don't know. Or there was a guy, I remember this. He tried to sue EA, Electronic Arts, for false advertising for Mass Effect, for Mass Effect 3, saying, my decisions didn't nearly matter enough. I think the case eventually got dropped. Although, get this, speaking of court cases, I don't know whether this is in the States too, but up here in Canada, there's this thing called the moneyismine.ca. Turns out if you bought electronics between 1999 and I think 2003, there was a price fixing on DRAM between the companies that made it and companies that were using it, like maybe your PDA or your video game system had it or something, whatever. There's actually a huge, like, $80 million lawsuit, and you can claim part of it. Although you have to have receipts and shit, but if you don't, you can just claim up to, like, $20. So, I guess
I don't have any receipts from that long ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, if I'd thought about this, because they're like, how many things do you owe? Or, like, you know, especially, like, if you're, like, big business, you can claim so much of it. So, if I could have proved it, I would have got $40, but hey, you know what? It's $20. That's a pizza. I'm okay with that. But yeah, stupid lawsuits are something I like to pay attention to, because sometimes you see some really dumb ones, or you'll see these really ridiculous petitions to the White House. I remember two specifically. The one where people petitioned the Obama administration to create the Death Star, which admittedly would have been awesome.
Did you see the one? I mean, yeah, I know you saw this one where they tried to petition to get the Enterprise made.
Yeah, or to get Justin Bieber thrown out of the country.
I was in favor of that.
Oh God! Oh fuck! I don't want him either.
They should.
We need to exile him to like Antarctica or something.
They don't want him either.
They should give him to the state of Osama bin Laden.
Are we talking about Obama?
No, I was talking about Bieber. Nobody wants him.
But yeah, like
that could be said for the other person too.
But you have to be careful. This is American airwaves.
Yeah.
Well, it's so weird though that people have the money and the time to waste in the courts to do this stuff. Like, guys, I think Bill Shatner said it best. Get a life.
Get a life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, seriously, someone, a lawyer, had to sit there and listen to somebody say, okay, so let me get this straight. You want to sue the coffee place for serving you hot coffee that you ordered, knowing you were getting hot coffee? Yes. How are you? Some kind of a fucking idiot.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
I still remember the Seinfeld episode with Kramer about the hot coffee. This is hilarious.
Well, there was another thing. I don't think this ever went to court, but it got Subway kind of heated up about it, where they were like, your footlongs aren't actually a footlong.
Why do you spilling hot coffee in
We've already talked about that.
Yeah, they're like
I
11
remember
and a
people took like pictures onto like Imager or whatever the hell it was, and like, look, this is bullshit. And we complain that we don't have enough money, and yet you can go to a lawyer, have them draw up papers, petition the court, to sue people over sandwiches and the Death Star and fajitas. This is the land of the free indeed. I love your country.
Nobody said they were smart.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we have any really stupid ones in Canada that I can think off the top of my head. Not really. Oh, I'm sure there's some. Someone probably knows something out there. But yeah, you always hear the really, really dumb lawsuits. I don't know. You know what? That's the kind of law I wish I could practice. Just the most ridiculous things possible.
And then you punch them in the face.
While dressed in a Starfleet uniform.
Just make sure you're not a red shirt.
Nope. I'm science division. But yeah, like, I don't know. Actually, you know what? You don't hear about people doing that anymore. Showing up to jury duty as, like, weird costume characters anymore. Someone
If I
needs
ever
to bring
get
that
called
back.
for it, if I ever get called for it, I'm dressing as a character. I'm gonna come wearing a Batman uniform or something.
There's a guy in Toronto. He's literally called Toronto Batman.
Yep.
I would love for him to get called for fucking jury duty. Because he would show up in the Batman costume.
And then they would say, it's against the law. I am the law.
That would be so fucking great.
No, he'd have to be in a Judge Dredd costume for that.
No.
Yeah. So, Mike, how far away from Toronto are you now?
About an hour and a half, give or take. Depends on the weather.
How often do you get down there? Or up there, or whatever?
Depends on what's going on. During the summer, once or twice a month. During the winter, almost never.
Are you going to try this summer to go to the newly opened Wahlburgers in Toronto?
Goddamn right. We have this awesome show up here. It's kind of like our version of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yeah.
It's called You've Got to Eat Here, and it's hosted by this guy named John Gatucci. I interviewed him last year. There are so many awesome food places that are, like, so bad for you, yet so friggin' awesome. There is one place in Toronto that serves nothing but grilled cheese sandwiches, but they are the most weird and intense ones you've ever had. Or there's this really awesome pizza place in Toronto. I think it's called Mike's Pizza or something. It's in Scarborough. But you can have, like, Ninja Turtle pizza. They'll make it for you. And one of their ones I really want to try, because it looks disgusting yet awesome, is the poutine pizza.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm thinking, but here's the weird thing. Pizza Hut already does that, which is really fucking strange. There's one place out in Calgary. It's a hot dog place. But you can have peanut butter, jelly, and Captain Crunch on a hot dog. It's supposed to be really good. And I'm really kind of curious to try this shit at home. Because clearly I have no respect for my stomach. But yeah, like, there's just so many weird things that us up here in Canada have. Like, Toronto Batman, he's a national treasure. I really wish he got more involved during the Rob Ford thing, though. That would have been awesome if he tried to bring Rob Ford to justice or something. Which, okay, there's something stupid I just thought of. This past week, that friggin' idiot started auctioning off his clothes from the crack scandal. His tie that he wore when he admitted that he smoked crack sold for $16,000.
Hey, he's gonna pay for that addiction.
I guess so, right? Jeez. Although
Or he needs a new table in his office.
I'm really sad I didn't get one of the Rob Ford bobbleheads, though. I really wanted to get one because I have a giant stuffed Rob Ford plushie that someone made for me last year.
What is your obsession with this guy?
I love him because he's such an idiot. The best part about my Rob Ford plushie is he has a Mayor McCheese tie. I love it. Someone gave him little shoes, little dress shoes, and a suit and everything, and he's got the Rob Ford cracked out face. So much. Although now we have a different mayor whose name, John Tory, I think it is. And now Toronto politics are 10 times less interesting, although Ralph Ford still sits on council in his original ward. Occasionally he'll say something really dumb, so Toronto's not as interesting as it once was. I don't see our mayor going on Jimmy Kimmel anytime soon. That makes me sad.
Yep.
So, okay, here's a question for you guys. Do you guys have any weird local characters like a Toronto Batman that hang out in your respective towns or near you?
Mm-mm. No, here in Louisville, Kentucky, we have all these designer horses for the friggin' Derby. They made them about 10, 15 years ago, and they placed them all over town, and you can see them, whenever you pass through in certain areas of town. Yeah, here it's all about the damn Derby. All this stuff, all this hullabaloo, this giant-ass fireworks show for a 2.5-minute horse race.
Kind of screwed up, isn't it?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When I moved here in '93 and was just, never been here before, whatever else, when I moved here to Kentucky, it was like, oh, it was great. I was getting into it. We were going to chuck wagons and all this and all that and everything else, and it's just one of those things where now it's like, oh my God, all this money that they're spending, even though they make a lot of it back, but all this money that they're spending for just a 2.5-minute horse race, I just don't care. That's like some people saying to me, oh, baseball is boring, you can fall asleep. Well, I love baseball. I just don't get horse racing because I'm not one of those gambling types. So, I'm not like Homer Simpson just, plowing the track looking for a Santa's little helper.
It always kind of weirds me out, just the fact that so many people can spend so much money in that, you can make so much, but it's super competitive and it's all about breeding and everything. Actually, one of a friend of our family up here, I think they've sold horses to people that race it in the Kentucky Derby. But I just never saw how you can make a huge television broadcast out of it. Like you said, it's a 2.5-minute race. I mean, sure, you can have analysis before and afterwards.
Well, they have races.
He ran better than the other guy.
I mean, they have races all day long. I mean, it's not the only part of it that's really televised is the before and
the only part that matters, basically.
Right? Yeah, but if you go out to Churchill Downs, you can get out there at like 10 o'clock in the morning on that first Saturday in May, and it's an all-day event. Derby parties, people that have derby parties here, it's an all-day event. The day before, we have Oaks Day on that Friday before. But I just, in my old age now, I just don't care anymore about it. Like, I get it.
Or at least the party's cool.
I haven't been to one I haven't been to one since I was in high school. Or I take that back. I haven't been to one since I was in middle school.
You should go to one and try the really weird food they have, because I imagine it's probably like a state fair, right?
The Kentucky Derby parties, Steve. They have mint juleps and all this and all that and everything else. And most of the Kentucky Derby parties I went to when I was 14, 15, 16 it was just a regular party, except they were watching the races on TV. I mean, that's right. It's the same thing as
the kind of thing you have to be at the track for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then again, hey, they do curling up here in Canada, and that's a big deal when there's the Tournament of Hearts and all that sort of shit. So, hey, to each their own, I guess. Although, if anybody throws a golf party, I seriously question your sanity.
I don't know if where Steve lives in Michigan right now, I don't know if his town has anything, but the only thing I know that Michigan has as far as like a reality celebrity is they have Hardcore Pawn in Detroit.
We have a lot of famous people like Kid Rock and people like that are from Detroit area.
Although supposedly he's a really cool guy, Kid Rock. I remember he came out and visited a fan a few months ago. Like, he just wrote him and he just showed up at his bar, just hung out with him.
Well, he's actually doing a concert later this summer, and he wanted to make sure that the tickets were cheap for people to go to it. So he made sure that the tickets are like $20 a person.
That's really cool of him. I mean, sure, he hasn't been relevant in years, But at
He's
least
still coming out with stuff, but I mean, at least he's, very fan-oriented, which is kind
very
of...
legit.
Yeah. You can tell he gives a rat's ass, and you can tell he's from Michigan because he knows everybody's poor.
Yeah, I'd say that the closest thing we come to a celebrity is, I believe, I could have this wrong, I'd have to look it up, but I believe Johnny Depp was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, I think. I don't remember. There was one of these damn celebrities. I'll say...
Well,
go ahead, Steve.
Veronica Mars was born here in
Kristen
Michigan.
Bell was born near you?
Yeah.
That's
She's born in
cool.
Michigan. Tim Allen was born in Michigan.
So was Rob Paulson.
Yes. Actually, not that far from where I hail from.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Obviously, Toronto has their own fair share of weirdos, and also famous people. The only famous people I've ever run into is I ran into hockey players on the subway, and well, that's no big deal. Although I know Guillermo del Toro, the really big director, lives in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I know George Romero lives there. He's the director of Night of the Living Dead and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uwe Boll lives, I think, in like Oakville or something, like a suburb or close to.
Plus, you guys have, the great one.
Yeah, Gretzky lives or his parents live near Brantford, I think. Elton John has a house like an hour from us. Him and his husband, they spend like the summers there, I think. Michael Cera actually doesn't live too far, or used to live not too far from us, which I think is pretty kick-ass. He actually has been into the comic book store that I hang out at. And I can think of two famous people from around here. The wrestlers Edge and Christian are from here. And Edge was actually in our comic book store a couple months ago, which was pretty awesome. Go get him, Adam Copeland. I think that's pretty neat. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Actually, there's one more for us here in Kentucky. They're Extreme Southern Rockers. Blackstone Cherry is from Kentucky.
My God, I haven't heard of those guys in like friggin' ever.
Are you serious? They just released a new album last year.
I
didn't think they were still relevant.
Like something I'd remotely listen to. To be fair, I'm actually just looking up you on Wikipedia right now to see like who are your famous people.
Jennifer Lawrence, apparently.
Whoa!
According to IMDb, most popular people born in Kentucky, USA: Jennifer Lawrence, Johnny Depp, Josh Hutcherson, George Clooney, Jennifer Carpenter, Sean Young, Maggie Lawson. Let's see.
That's some pretty nice people coming out of there.
Michael Shannon, a.k.a. Zod from Man of Steel.
I want to find him! Best part about that movie. God, I love his overacting of that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Chris Hardwick.
The Nerdist dude is from
Yeah.
here. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Actually, off the top of my head, Steve, you may know the answer to this. Did they put up the RoboCop statue in Detroit like last summer?
I believe they did,
Is it still there?
but I'm not 100% on that. I'm pretty sure we reported something about that.
Yeah, I just don't remember, and that sucks because that was going to be my mecca. I wanted to make pilgrimage to RoboCop. I still have to, like this summer.
Yeah, last they said, it says to be unveiled, and then, here it is. Detroit unveils RoboCop statue for RoboCop Day. But this was in 2014. This is the latest I can find an article for it.
Any of our listeners are in Detroit. Can someone, snap a picture of this thing?
They canceled the RoboCop statue's debut.
Oh, why?
Yeah, that's why I didn't see anything about it actually posted up.
Yeah, I was
It was
wondering.
cast
like,
in bronze, though. They do have pictures of the bronze statue, it just never actually got put up.
Is there a reason why?
It doesn't say.
This needs to be out in front of my apartment.
So, RoboCop aside, I would say probably, even though we have a lot of...
RoboCop aside! Only on this show you'll ever hear that transition.
RoboCop aside, I will say we have a lot of famous people that have been born here in Kentucky, but probably the most famous one, Muhammad Ali.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. This past weekend, some wrestler bought a house. I want to say in Kentucky. I'm not sure. I think it was Lana and Rusev actually bought a house near you.
Yeah, why? Send them back to Russia where they belong.
Oh, are you kidding, man? That Lana chick is...
I can't stand them.
That's all I gotta say.
Oh, Kung Fu.
Their whole gimmick is... It wasn't even the right racist joke either.
I know.
When I perfect cloning, there will be many clones of her. Intensely loyal to me. Maybe a few of him as like a bodyguard, but still, many clones of her.
Oh, this podcast, I don't even know how much that Steve is going to leave in, but this podcast has run super long, but I'll bring this up since I saw this. Tonight, well, actually, it happened this past Monday on Raw. I missed it, but I saw the recap on SmackDown.
Oh, the Jon Stewart thing?
No, that's one of the stupidest things.
Clever.
It's just one of the stupidest things WWE has ever done. But the most insulting...
Grumpy Cat's the stupidest thing they've ever done.
Well...
And Larry the Cable Guy.
I'm saying in ring at a show, that's the stupidest thing they've ever done, in my opinion. But the fact that Bray Wyatt is challenging The Undertaker... The Undertaker, don't get me wrong, the man is a legend. Absolutely love his performances over the time that he put in the WWE and the time he put in wrestling. But the man is old as sin. He just got defeated last year by Brock Lesnar. Do we really need The Undertaker back at WrestleMania?
See, I think his final match really should have been either Lesnar or against Sting, all things considered. The Bray Wyatt thing, it's kind of a neat angle, and I like how they're giving Bray Wyatt a push. The thing is, though, I don't think that this should be his send-off. I mean, I can't remember who said it. I think it was in one of those WWE documentaries where they say, you start out on top, you go out on your back. And at least having Lesnar defeat The Undertaker to be the 1-21-1, that's fine. But to now have him face Bray Wyatt as his final defeat, that's not cool. I mean, have him fight Sting. That matters. Triple H versus Sting, I could give a shit less. I'd rather see him fight The Undertaker.
Well, what about this? Have it a triple threat. Triple H versus Undertaker versus Sting. That would be a nice send-off for him.
It may not be so bad. Hell, they're even talking about Batista's final match will probably be next year. So there's a bunch of people leaving. Hell, they were even talking about having Rey Mysterio have one more, but he wasn't interested in doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen Rey.
I loved him.
I haven't seen Rey in at least a year and a half or more.
Oh, yeah, the last time he did it was just before last year's WrestleMania, or just after.
Yeah, and Sin Cara has pretty much taken up his kind of slot. Not necessarily he's replacing him. I'm saying the character of Sin Cara, which I haven't even seen him lately.
He's been jobbing to Wade Barrett, so.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, he's just kind of there. You know, Sin Cara, hey, do you need a win? Yes, well, guess your fight tonight. I mean, nothing against the guy. He's a fine performer, and he does try, but I feel bad for anybody who's stuck on the low card or mid card, because, man, they get screwed.
Oh, my God. The low card and the mid card matches, it's like, that's when I have to fast forward the stuff. I just can't handle it. Because those are the matches that last the longest to me. At least they seem like they last the longest. And it's like, oh my God.
Well, it sucks to see some people that are genuinely talented have to get squashed.
True.
To make other people look powerful. I mean, one of my favorite guys is a guy named R-Truth. I love that guy. He's so much fun to watch. But he gets his ass kicked. And I'm thinking, come on, man. He deserves better than this. You're pushing fucking Los Matadores over him. Eat shit.
The only thing good about that threesome is
El Torito?
Is El Torito.
Fucking A, man.
I loved the whole thing with Hornswoggle and El Torito. That was amazing. They need to do that more often.
I think it was last year at WrestleMania where they had the three midgets from WWE dressing as Jerry Lawler and all those guys. And it was like a mini WrestleMania. They've had like little tables and shit. I thought that was fucking brilliant. I had so much fun with that. We're probably boring the crap out of Steve.
I know.
You know
I'll say one last thing.
Just do a wrestling podcast at some point.
Yeah, I have.
Me and like Vancore.
Yeah, I have plans for it.
Okay, dude, I'm there.
I'll say one thing about the Jon Stewart bit. The best part was when he kicked him in the nuts.
Yep, he's like, how do I get ball marks off my shoe? That's pretty clever, though. I'm kind of glad they gave him something like that. And the fact that Jon Stewart responded to him, that's great. Kind of an odd choice, but much better than Larry the Cable Guy. Although I'd like to see someone fight Stephen Colbert. I want to see Stephen Colbert interview Bray Wyatt.
That will never happen. You know why? You know why that'll never happen?
Why?
CBS and The Late Show. He is replacing Letterman. CBS would never I don't think CBS would ever let him do that now.
That sucks. I think that'd be one hell of a funny interview because Colbert would totally play it straight. Bray Wyatt would try hard not to laugh. That's what I love about Colbert. Funny as hell. Late Night's going to be so different without him and Jon Stewart.
Well, you'll still have him.
Yeah, but they won't be in their traditional things. I mean, because Jon Stewart's done.
Yeah, but I mean, with Colbert, you'll still have him on Late Night. It's just a different version of Late Night.
Yeah.
And let's face it, as we already talked about a couple weeks ago, the new Late Night hosts have pretty much taken over the classic shows and made it their own. So I'm pretty sure that Colbert is going to take the Late Show and make it his own. So
yeah, it'll be good. Anything else to talk about, guys? Since we have run the full gamut of God knows what.
The other thing I was trying to get to, was the Dragon Ball Z movie.
Oh, what is it called? The Light of Hope or whatever it is?
No, this one is the Resurrection of F.
Oh, man. It could be really awesome or really stupid. I'm really excited for it, though. It looks cool. Although Frieza looks like an Oscar statue, but
it's supposed to be his Super Frieza 5 mode.
I'm thinking, dude, Goku kicked your ass, Trunks kicked your ass. Goku was Super Saiyan God mode. You're fucked.
Well, they're gonna still have Lord Beerus.
Oh yeah, the weird cat dude, yeah. It should be cool, though. He's supposed to be not as powerful as Frieza, I guess. Yeah.
Which is kind of beyond me, how that's even possible, but...
Which, I'll admit, Frieza, I think, was one of the better villains from that series.
Which is why he's getting his own new movie.
I think he had some of the best personality, but I really did like Cell. I just think the Cell games dragged out entirely too long. Although I really did like Android 17 and 18, but 17 did get the Super 7 Android Teen movie or whatever, or he came back in GT or something.
Yeah, they mixed him. He became like Super 17 or something weird.
Yeah, like they came back from hell or something, which kind of sucks that he never became a good guy. Actually, I've actually hung out with that voice actor, Chuck Huber, who voices him. He also voices Garlic Jr. I was in Texas a couple years ago, and I'm like, holy shit, you're Android 17. And he's like, yes, I am. And it was really cool. I had lunch with him, and I met the guy that voices Raditz, too, Justin Cook.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really weird. Just like, oh my god, I've grown up with you guys. This is so fucking cool. And another random Dragon Ball Z story. I'm friends with Sean Schemmel, who voices Goku. A couple months ago, I interviewed Christopher Sabat, who voices Vegeta and Piccolo. And Sean was upset that I didn't interview him at the same time. So he's in the background as Goku calling me out the whole time, and I'm trying hard not to be distracted by it.
He's like, hey, Dad.
He's like, hi, kids, I'm Goku. Mike Todd's an asshole. Like, oh, Sean, I love you. Like, seriously, that guy, I remember the first time I ever met Sean Schemmel, he stole my microphone and ran away with it. And my recording equipment came back 10 minutes later, and my mic and equipment is just filled with utter gibberish of him just running around as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Christopher Walken, and other random people.
Maybe Bruce Campbell should have done that too, so you'd notice him.
Yeah, me and my nice hat.
He's like, who the hell are you, Dodd?
Yeah, but yeah, like, Dragon Ball Z, I'm actually surprised how much it's been a part of my life. Like, I remember borrowing taped episodes off my friend when it aired on YTV in Canada in the afternoon, like, once a week. So I'd have to wait for, like, a month or two for enough episodes to be there to actually kind of give a shit. And this is before they edited it into Kai, where they cut out all the filler episodes. Oh my god. I'm so looking forward to this. Although I haven't seen Battle of the Gods in a while, one that just came out, so I'm hoping
I've watched it recently. I really enjoy it.
I'm really hoping they like localize this one fast, because I would love to see them. Like, I love voice cast they've got now is great. Although I do miss Kyle Hebert as the Dragon Ball Z announcer, but he's still Ox King. He's still Gohan, I think.
It just makes me sad that when they change out the voices.
Well, it's weird. I remember growing up with Ian Corlett
As Goku.
And then when Sean Schemmel took over, I remember for like a year or two, I hated it. And then,
I did too.
And then once I got used to it, I'm thinking, man, I can't picture anybody else as Goku. And then when they changed from Brian Drummond as Vegeta out and gave it to Chris Sabat, I didn't like it either. Now I can't picture anybody else saying it, although Brian Drummond does the best over 9,000, though. And everybody else. I remember even when Krillin's voice changed. But now I really like his new voice, too. I don't know. It's so funny how sometimes you hate a change in a voice actor, but then after a while, you can't picture anything else. And it's really weird when you have these people as friends. Like, I've been friends with Kyle Hebert for years. And when you hear him say really weird things in the Dragon Ball Z voice or as Gohan, it's really utterly bizarre. The sort of stuff that's like after hours only meant for you. Or hearing like other anime characters like order drinks or stuff like that. Like, what the hell's that guy? Vic Mignola. The guy who's the voice of like everything. And then like him and like Steve Bloom, hearing them order drinks and shit is really weird. Adventures in voice acting. I don't know. There you go. But yeah, like Resurrection of F, I hope we get it. I hope even if we get a subtitled version in theater, I really hope it happens sooner as opposed to later.
I'm super pumped for it because I love the whole dynamic of Frieza against Goku, and then plus they're actually going to have Krillin fight, Master Roshi fight, like everybody.
It's going to be so cool. God, I love Dragon Ball Z.
And they're changing all their uniforms too.
Ooh. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the new character designs.
And Oscar's Frieza.
Oh, man. It really sucks that they fucked up the Dragon Ball movie from a couple years ago, Evolution. How they just completely miscast everybody.
Pretty much. It was terrible.
It's a guilty pleasure for me. I will admit, I think it's Emily Blunt. I think that's the name. Who plays Bulma. I do like her.
I don't think that was Emily Blunt. I think that was Emmy Rossum.
That's it. I was wrong. And it was...
Only reason I know that is because my wife likes Phantom of the Opera, and she's the singing chick in it, so...
I had no idea. And I know the guy that played Goku is Justin Chatwin, who was I think he was Tom Cruise's son in War of the Worlds, I think.
Yep.
Which, how can you whitewash a role like that? That sucked. Although the guy that played Grandpa Gohan was okay.
Well,
Master Roshi was funny as hell cast with Chow Yun Fat.
There's a live action fan version of Dragon Ball Z where it takes place where Trunks is a kid and Gohan's training him, and the whole part where the androids.
Yeah, and that's the new one that's on YouTube right now, right?
Yeah.
Light of Hope.
Yep.
That looks.
I watched it.
Cool.
It was pretty good.
That would be a great thing you could adapt fairly easily to the screen, but I guess there's so much backstory. And I guess Raditz and Vegeta and Nappa technically is more interesting. But, Android 17 and 18, you don't have to do anything special. Just make them really, really powerful looking. That's it. Well,
and then the way that they did the sound effects and the motion, it was like watching the show, just live action.
Yeah. I think that thing may work live action if you do it like they did the kind of YouTube series, obviously step it up a notch. There's one anime adaptation coming out in a few years, The Ghost in the Shell. That should be pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about Scarlett Johansson being the major, because, once again, you're whitewashing a role. I think an Asian actress could do it and be really fucking awesome at it. But I guess that's neither here nor there. I wonder whatever happened to the Cowboy Bebop movie they were talking about for like 10 years. I know Keanu Reeves wanted to play Spike, and he's way too old for it now. I'm actually really surprised we've never got a live-action Gundam movie.
Oh, give it a couple years. I'm sure we'll see it.
Well, there was one. I remember seeing trailers for it, but it was for Pat Labor, which is this robot police force thing where they drive these mechs called Labors. And they built Alphonse, who is like the big mech. It's just what the mech's named. It's not sentient or anything. They built like a scale replica, and it's meant to be in the movie. The trailer, I think it's still available on YouTube. I don't know whether the movie's come out though. I know there's a live action Attack on Titan. I don't know whether it's out, but it looked really freaking cool from what I remember. I think they're doing a live action Naruto, or there's like a stage play, and they've been slowly releasing cast photos, and it looks really cool. Honestly, surprised Sailor Moon has never been adapted. I know there was a live action TV show at one point. They even wanted to make one over here in America. I know that's floating around on YouTube, and it looks really fucking dumb. Like, I'm talking like beyond the pale of stupid. I'm trying to think of what other animes that really work live action.
Well, I guess that can be one of the questions too. We can just ask and wait and see what happens next week. Like what anime do you think could work live action if they did it right?
I think Death Note could work, but that works so well. And actually, well, I guess it is live action because I did a couple live action movies. Although the CGI on Ryuk is something special. You can tell how much I'm impressed.
So, anything else for this episode, guys?
The one thing I'd love to see, I don't think it'll ever happen, because it would require Square and Disney to really work together.
They aren't going to make Kingdom Hearts.
Damn it! I would love to see.
So awesome.
That would be so awesome. That would be so awesome.
They made that into like a TV show or something. Oh my god, the possibilities. As long as I get Cloud, I'm happy. That's what I want. But yeah, like, totally, I'd love to hear what people have to say. Like, because we got a lot of really cool response. I know one guy said he'd love to see Mass Effect as a TV series. Let me tell you, I would give my left testicle to be the executive producer on that.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. My God, I would cast Mark Meer, the voice of Shepard, because when he cosplays as Shepard, it's goddamn impressive. He's got the armor, he's got the guns. It's legit, dude. Plus,
well, if you're a producer, I want to be a voice actor.
Awesome. I'm trying to think, would I undergo a sex change to helm a show?
No, you wouldn't.
I don't know. With enough money
It's
in
not worth
therapy,
that.
I could learn to love myself.
The only
I
bad
really
thing
hope
is
I'm
you'd
not
enjoy
offending
it.
people by saying that. I'm not making fun of people with the whole gender thing. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we get letters. I guess the only thing I really have to mention is if you guys want to help out with Dr. Wiley's vet bills, I could use a little bit more help. If you can, I'm not saying you have to. You can do PayPal for me at zerofbi@hotmail.com or email transfer at mikejdodd@gmail.com. So Steve will put that in the episode notes. If you can help, great. If you can't, that's fine too. I'm just glad I have my best friend back and he's laying on my arm like a sack of potatoes, but still got him. He's still a good boy, so thanks to everybody who did help out, though.
And Mike?
Just head on over to geekcastradio.com, check out all the content we've got there. It's been, we didn't do a show last week. I did just put up the March 2015 Shout Factory TV programming notice. I also put out an interview with one of the guys that run Shout Factory TV. It's their streaming service, Elliot Rutstein. So go over to GCRN's website and check that out.
They need to get a streaming app for the game consoles.
Who, Shout Factory?
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty awesome. Like, you've got like Hulu, Netflix, Crackle, all that shit.
In the interview, he says that because they just launched it last month, like February 5th. So in the interview, he does talk about the growth and what they, hope to do in the future.
I'm excited for that shit. I will sign up immediately.
You don't have to sign up. You just go to shoutfactorytv.com and start watching. No sign up, no cost.
I want to do it on my Xbox.
Well, I'm just saying there's no sign up is what I'm saying.
There's an Internet Explorer browser on there.
I should try that, actually. I'm curious. All right. So, I guess that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you for listening to Altered Geek Unlimited. You can get a hold of us in the following ways. You can email us, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Tell us what you like, what you hate, what you want to respond to. Tell us how much of an asshole we are. You can visit the episode post at geekcastradio.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at geekcastradio, #AlteredGeek. My Twitter handle is at SCP21, and yours are, sirs?
TFG1 Mike.
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram under @BirdmanDodd.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with you altered geeks. See you next time.
And more Pepto-Bismol.